ladies and gents, once again coming at you with some Serral content. The Zerg who leads the way and gets us nerfed and still wins, so why and what does he do to these heckin' Terrans? This map is called Hard Lead or Hard Lead. Feel free to type out your preferred pronunciation in the chat, and I won't judge you too harshly. Serral going for the 13 Overlord this time, so it's not going to be that 14 hatch build. Liquid Clam. It's going to go for barracks. Look at this patrol maneuver. This SCV has plans. Plans for the future. Takes the gas. Takes a pool. Alright, now we need to fill time until Ling speed is done. So how's it going, chat? The early game. You fill the gas. You make 4 Lings. You make 2 Queens. The Reaper tries to kill some of your Lings or your drones. And Serral will use 1 Queen to escort a drone over to the 3rd base while he makes another Queen in the main. That is my prediction here based on other Serral games I've seen versus Terran. Reaper 1. On the way. On the way. Queens. Lings. Overlord. Triangle 3rd. Hides the drone in a place that the Reaper would not go. So he intentionally supply blocks himself at 28 for a little bit and then gets it here. Huh. One thing I've noticed about Serral's games that's different from my own is he takes the triangle 3rd base, and it seems like in a couple circumstances. One circumstance is whenever he's against Protoss and they're gonna probe block his natural, he just goes for the triangle 3rd, because the triangle 3rd is usually a little bit shorter rush to it. The line 3rd is a little bit further, just from base to base. This to this. So maybe a touch closer. Yeah, it's to defend adept all-ins, I think. But he's doing it against Terran here. And I haven't really seen him do that against Terran that much. I guess maybe he goes triangle most of the time. Nevertheless, he took the triangle base. He's trying to work on his creep connection. 2 Queens at the front. Another Queen coming up in the main. Queen at the natural. 32 drones. 1 Marine. And Clem is going for a very fast 3rd orbital. Couple Hellions. Hellions are nice because they basically mean that Zerg can't Ling Bane all in you. And they can't flood Lings and kill you. Nice safety unit. You can also manage creep, which is good. Queens at the 3rd. Ling trying to run home. A thing that Serral is very renowned for is his ability to get insane value out of even a single Zergling. Or a Zergling in a relationship. Just 1 Ling. He gets it into their base. Against the top players in the world. And it's a very simple move. He just sends the 1 Ling, move commanded, into their base. He was kind of spam clicking it there. And then he's clicking this Ling and he gets a full read. It's such a cheap scout. This is one of the reasons that people complain about Zerg. If you pull up the list of things that people complain that Zerg can do, Serral does all of those things every game. That's why he wins. So there's actually an inverse method of learning StarCraft matchups. Instead of you, say, going to my stream, or Lambo's stream, or some Zerg stream, you go to the stream of the opposing faction, and you wait until they face a Zerg, and then you listen to what they complain about, and then you write that down, and that's your build. How can the Zerg make these queens and just defend everything? They yell to themselves from their stream, and you write down as the Zerg, make many queens, can defend everything, and then you circle that. Zerg can just make 30 drones at once! 30 drones at once. And the Zerg can just fly overlords in your base the whole game and see everything that you're doing. Fly overlords over their base and see everything that they're doing. Circle back. That's a valid way to learn. Have you ever learned that way? I have. I definitely have. Sometimes I don't even feel like something is that strong, and then I just hear someone have a meltdown about it, and I'm like, man, that must be pretty strong. And then you try it, and you're like, yeah, this is good. So that's the inverse learning method. Learn from your enemies and what they don't want to deal with. Look at all these queens. I saw Cyril play on this map against Protoss once, and the thing that's so jacked about this map is you can get creep to the opponent's half of the map very soon. The creep is already at mid-map. He's there. This is his half of the map, and soon this will be his half of the map too. If Clem doesn't do something to stop this. 3 orbital play. It takes a little bit to ramp up. There are quite a few workers for both players here. 63 versus 76. And then this is going to be a Stim Marine with Liberator backup tank over here push. Okay. Got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Cyril maybe thinking about doing a counterattack. Clem did keep the Hellions at home, so this isn't everything that he has. This is an interesting siege attack. He's trying to bait this army out in range of the Liberator and the tank to get some big hits on it. But Cyril is going into the third base here. The Hellions were a little bit out of position, but actually, that was a very efficient defense from Clem. Only losing 3 SCVs for all that Ling Bane. Pretty strong trade. Ling's up here getting this tank. Queens do clear the Liberator. 76 workers to 64. The Hellions are now showing up here at the front. And Cyril needs to reestablish this creep. Creep at mid-map. If he gets it over here, that would be pretty huge. Another factory. This is one of Clem's signature things that he does. A lot of Terrans don't do this. What many Terrans do on ladder when they're playing bio is they take all their gases and they have 1 factory and 1 starport, and then they just float 3k gas in the mid-game. Clem makes a second factory, which allows him to spend his gas. It's really revolutionary. Okay, the Queens are trying to hold the line here. Cyril's being very disciplined about not just going in and attacking this. It's very tempting just whenever they shoot at you with their guns, like, that's offensive. So as a Zerg, I want to go deal with whoever just shot at my stuff. But sometimes it's not really the right time to take the fight. And Clem is trying to get Cyril to take a fight on Clem's turn. Or terms, sorry. Queens transfusing each other. Ling Bane thinking about going in now. Queens off creep. They cannot transfuse in this state. It's one of the nerfs to Queens that we got, mainly due to the Queen Walk Roach Ravager against Protoss. But we get to be punished for that in CBT now as well, which is great. Okay, well, he cleaned it up. The tank is gone. The Hellbats are gone. But Clem is just cranking out units, and he is ahead in supply this game. He has 76 workers, 41 Marines, 2 tanks, 8 mines. That Hellion defense at the third versus the Ling Bane. Amazing micro from Cyril. Only loses 2 links to that. That mine hit could have been devastating. There's a sensor tower up, which makes counterattacks a lot more difficult to do. Just checking Clem's defense, he has a tank and some mines, and his production is just being rallied to this spot. This is a very good defensive practice. A lot of Terrans will lose games because they're F2ing their army out of the base, or the rally point is like to the third or something weird. So this is a great setup for Clem. Units lost tab, I would expect this to be very efficient for him, yeah. Yeah, this is a good example of a match where almost everything has gone right for Clem. Cyril hasn't made any massive blunders, but the counterattack that he did at the third really put Clem in the driver's seat of this game in terms of just being ahead. More mines here. Cyril's mixing in some Hydras. Hydras with the Groove Spine upgrade can outrange the activation of mines, so they can kill mines before they actually go off if they have detection. He's not getting a hive yet. And Cyril's a little bit off of his game when it comes to the inject uptime. He's playing a Lingbane style, but the queens have been pulled. An indication of the heavy pressure that Clem is applying by attacking him on two sides. He's got 3 medivacs with Marines over here. He's got a bunch of medivacs with Marines over here. And he has been just pumping out mines. He has so many Widow Mines. Units tab. What does he have? 7 Widow Mines? I guess it's not that many, but a lot of them have died. He has some mines. 82 workers to 87. Big eco for both players. Pretty good hit from the Banes there on the mines. Production tab, what they got going? 26 Lings, Hive, and a Lurker Den. He's going for Lurkers this time. Clem is starting to mass the command centers, and getting that 5th base up uncontested is really big for him. The other matches we saw of Cyril versus Clem, Cyril got some pretty vicious counterattack damage in. But in this game, he has found no purchase. Clem has been able to just play the game as he likes. He's the one who knocks. He's doing all the attacks. Cyril's trying to set up and delay and then defend stuff. But this isn't really a fun position to be in, where you've got a bunch of Marauders at the front with mines and Marines behind. This is just really tough. He is making more Lings. He did fix his larva situation here by sending the queens back to work. He's got both Hydra upgrades. And this doesn't look like that much of an army, but when Clem is microing it and splitting everything, it is really hard to clean up. Oh, nice fungal. Now the Hydras can take out a bunch of these medivacs. Cool. There's a drop here on the left-hand side as well, though. Queens mostly clean it up. But the medivac does get the scoop. +2 range attack, +2 melee. This Infestor is going to inspect this rock and then decide, you know what? That's a dangerous area. I'm just going to go somewhere else. So it scurries forward a few paces. Lingbane Hydra here. This mine is still an active threat. 18 kills. It's a captain. This Widow Mine can legally officiate a wedding as a captain. How'd you get your captain's license? Oh, you know. Killed 18 Banes at once. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Another push over here. There aren't that many medivacs, but the units are just dying before they even get to the bio, so what do you need the medivacs for? Basically to deal with these bio units' insane stim habit. They are using stim a lot. Have they said in the lore what stim is? Is it just like espresso coffee? They just get some coffee? Or is it like harder drugs? Oh, there are ghosts in the mix now. That's always a spooky sound. Whenever you hear the snipes happening, you're like, oh no. Oh no, it's a ghost game now. They did nerf the ghost. It doesn't feel that nerfed from the Zerg's perspective. It's just like slightly less scary. If before the Ghost to Zerg was like a 10 out of 10 scary, it's a 9 now. It was nerfed, but not by that much. Conceptually, it's just such a value dense unit per supply, because they're gaining value with their energy over time. And unlike Banelings, they can go in, snipe stuff, and then back away and regain energy. But they are counterable, as you can see. Huge swaths of Lings and Banes will dispatch them. So the map is getting pretty congested here. The two players' territories are basically bumping into each other, with this base from Cyril and this base from Clem being next door neighbors. They're just throwing water balloons over the fence at each other at this point. But these water balloons have acid in them. I guess they're acid balloons. Queen over here has been killed. Cyril's supply is not looking too good. Neither player really has much of a bank here. This has been a very down and dirty aggressive game. Or the units are just being traded out. Bit of lurker pressure there. Liberator and Ghost in position to defend it. Overseer here giving some detection for the army if it needs it. I'm just going to back these up, and now these are defensive units. Very cool. Cyril tries to run forward. The mines only getting a couple lings each, and then they're cleaned up. He has a lot of gas banked up, so he could spend that into lurkers if he wanted to. I don't play Lingbane Hydra into lurker that much, so I don't really know what the queue is to increase your lurker count. What do you do with all this gas? Cyril needs another base. I feel like that's the main problem. If he had another base and more mineral income, it would fit this army composition a little bit better. Parasitic Bomb on the Medivacs. Getting lots of AoE on these crucial energy-based units. Another big push from the left-hand side. Clem just chilling with two army groups. There's a left army and a right army. This right side army has some damaged Medivacs. Man, look at the damage these parasitic bombs dealt. Wow. Viper is a good unit. Of the Zerg's units, the Viper is counted among the good. Cyril does tend to make one infestor against Terran as well, which is kind of funny. It's not bad, like he gets some clutch fungals now and then. He doesn't mass infestors though. I've only really seen him make one at a time. Just so there's a little bit of infestor representation. They decided not to nerf the infestor because it is still used. They also decided to not buff it because Cyril still makes it and wins. They're like, look! Infestors are used in winning games. Yeah, one of them. He made an infestor. Yeah, so the unit's in a good spot. Yeah. It has been broken in the past, though, I'll admit it. It has been too strong. The root fungal. The root fungal with no projectile time. And the infested Terran. It was so broken. Ridiculously powerful. A bunch of mine hits here. Cyril's trying to break this position. Really cool, diverse unit composition from Clem. He's got a lot of Medivacs, Liberators, Marines, Ghosts, Mines, Marauders. All kinds of different stuff. Parasitic Bomb on this would be clutch. This base is looking worse for wear. But the SCV's just barely able to save it. That always feels bad when you commit a bunch of Banes at a base and then it doesn't fall. He did get 12 SCVs though, so that's something. But he's at 73 workers against 75 SCVs. This is kind of hard. Oh, can he get the parasitic bombs? He abducts a Medivac and focuses it down. These are cool fights and he is killing units, but the problem is Clem is able to do so with more income. So if they take even trades, every even trade benefits Clem more than it benefits Cyril. More Liberators coming up. And it is pretty gnarly to attack into this many Liberation zones with just Hydras. And he only has 9 Hydras. I don't even think he can break this right now. Oh, he's Nidusing the main. There's nothing currently in the Nidus network, but there are a couple Lurkers over here. It's also hard to say what he should do in terms of pivoting his unit composition, because you don't want to mass Lurkers into mass range Liberator Ghost. So, yeah, what do you do? He's got Lurkers in the main, but as you can see here, Liberators are really good at defending these. Yeah, and that's it. Wow. Great match from Clem. So, a pretty flawless performance from him in terms of all the fights basically went Clem's way. He did a cool tank and Liberator Marine pressure over here, but I feel like the main tipping point where Clem was able to just run away with the game was when Cyril went for a big commitment of Ling Bane at this third base and only killed 2 workers. That was a really smart defense from Clem of not committing the Hellions to the defense. It can be tempting to just yeet the units that you have, but he kept his Marine with the tank and the Liberator right here, and he kept his Hellions from the early game right here. So when the Ling Bane rolled in, it dealt basically no damage. So that's one thing that as a Zerg you can think about is what units are they attacking me with versus what units do I know that they still have. Cyril didn't kill the Hellions yet, so it might not have been the best time to go for that counter. And maybe you just, I don't know, try to bust into the natural, or you just wait and attack whenever you see them commit the Hellions. But very well played by Clem. Very well played.